I am standing at the bottom of 14 flights of stairs, trying to decide if I have enough air in my lungs. To make it to the top. I can already feel the burning in my chest and the cramping in my legs, and I haven't even taken my first step. I feel frustrated and hopeless. I'm 9 years old, and suddenly I'm wondering something no 9-year-old should have to wonder. Is this just my life? The truth is, it kind of was. My family lived on the 14th floor of a building in Harlem. I had chronic asthma and wore metal braces on my legs. So every day, one question mattered to me more than anything else. Is the elevator working? Most days I didn't have to guess because the moment I walked into the lobby, I could see it. A handwritten sign taped to the elevator door. Out of order. Right then I could feel the air leaving my lungs because I knew what was waiting for me. 180 steps. I grabbed the railing and I start climbing. And from behind me, I hear my brother's voice. Don't stop. Keep moving. Somewhere along the way, his words start to feel like hands in the middle of my back, pushing me up the stairs. So I kept climbing, step by step, with my brother right behind me, and eventually we made it home. And for a long time, that's just what life felt like. One climb after another. Not long after that, my family moved down south to Charleston. The braces came off my legs, my breathing got better, and on the outside, I looked fine. But on the inside, I still felt like I had something to prove. So I secretly started playing football. Not organized football, neighborhood football. No helmets, no pads, just kids in the street, running full speed and hitting each other. One day I went home and I begged my parents, can I play real football? They didn't say no. They said, hell no. Because to them, I was still that kid. But I kept asking. And eventually, they gave in with one condition. If you get hurt, you're done. One afternoon, my dad said, get your stuff. And we got in the car and we drove to my first football practice. It was late summer in Charleston. The humidity was thick. We could hear the football field before we could see it. Helmets cracking, pads colliding, whistles blowing, kids shouting. My dad parked the car and got out. But I didn't move. Because in that moment, all I kept thinking was, suppose they find out I'm just a fragile kid. He opens my door. Come on. We walk to the edge of the field, and he stops. And for the first time since we got there, he finally looked at me. And then he said 6 words I will never forget. Hit them before they hit you. Then he stepped back. No speech, no pep talk, just 6 words. Just 6 words. And during that season, I got hurt. Sprained ankles, bruised ribs, and once I even had a concussion. But I kept it all to myself because quitting was not an option. And by the end of the season, the kid who once wore leg braces and struggled to breathe was named Most Valuable Player. Years later, I found myself in a very different place, but facing something that felt strangely familiar. At the time, I was the chief of police in Georgetown, South Carolina. First African American to be in that position in that city. And 1 week after the death of George Floyd, our country felt fragile. Cities were tense, communities were divided, and in our town, thousands of people were preparing to march. Before we went out that day, I gathered everyone for a safety briefing. The room was quiet. Everyone knew what was at stake. One wrong move and everything could change. Just as we were wrapping up, one officer raised his hand. Chief, I don't understand why people are marching here. This didn't happen in our city. I could feel the tension in the room. So I took a deep breath. Because this was a different kind of climb. Then I told them the truth. We live in a global society. And when something like this happens, people everywhere feel it. People need space to heal. And sometimes a peaceful protest can be a part of that healing process. And hell, I'm hurting too. Because when I watched that video, I saw my son, I saw my brothers, and I saw my father. The room got still. A few heads nodded. But everyone now understood what this moment really was. Soon after we hit the streets, citizens were gathering, officers stood ready, and the march began. Voices were rising, and emotions were high, but fists stayed down. And when it was over, people talked, hands shook, and neighbors walked home together. That day, our community made a choice. Instead of collapsing under the weight of the moment, we climbed it together. Right now, some of you are facing something difficult. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to make it. I know what that feels like. But somewhere along the line, I realized something about those 14 flights of stairs. They were getting me ready. And that's when I started asking a different question. What is this preparing me for? Because the moment the question changes, everything changes. Not the stairs, not the struggle, you. And as I look back over my life, I realize that the same thing had been true all along. There is no magical elevator. If we want to rise, then we have to climb. And the moment you take that first step, hope climbs with you. When you find yourself face to face with adversity, don't call it punishment. Call it preparation. Because one day you will realize it wasn't the stairs that changed you. It was the climb.